Hello, everybody. Welcome to Comics from the Future. It is our Friday comic show where we're going to go over all the super awesome comic covers. We don't want you to miss words. All the awesome comic covers and new issues and releases and all sorts of things that we don't want you to miss. So thank you for tuning in with us today. In case you didn't know, my name is Megan.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Jason. We're with Infinity Flux Comics in the lovely Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That's right. If you can't get enough of us on here, we are also on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else. We're probably right outside your window right now.
Don't look.
Anyway, as I said,
but accurate.
Everything we're going to go over on the show up into for DC Books this Sunday and for everything else on Monday is open order, which for most shops means that if you get your orders in by that time, you can get what you want, guarantee it, get as many copies as you want. So that's what's great about this show and why we do it. So let's jump into it.
Okay, so the first book we're going to go over today is Wonder Girl. That's right, it is Yara Flor's first ongoing series. This, like her Future State stuff, is being done by Joelle Jones. She's doing the art and the writing. So I like Yara Flor. I think her character is really cool from what I've read. I'm really excited for this series. But one thing I didn't know, I guess it kind of got revealed in Infinite Frontier Zero, is she's from Boise, Idaho. They keep talking about a Brazilian Wonder Woman, so you figure she's from Brazil. She's not. She actually was raised in Boise, Idaho, and I think that's why she has that sense of humor, and she kind of knows, the pop culture.
Her love of
like
potatoes, that I'm sure
love of potatoes, yeah.
There.
So in this, how it starts is she's always felt like something was missing, so she's traveling to Brazil to find out about her heritage and how she links in with these powers that she has. This promises this is going to change just sort of the whole mythos of Wonder Woman as far as people have known it. So it's got some really cool variant covers. Here is the cover by BILQUIS Evely.
Yeah, she was working on some of the Sandman universe stuff, and
I could definitely see why
great
they would
artist.
have her for that. Yeah, that is really cool. And then there is this. It's going to look a little shrunken because it's front and back, but there's a blank cover. So
they wanted to make sure you knew that the back was just as blank as the
back
front.
Matches the front. Yes.
Next up is a new. It was a digital first, but it's going to be a ongoing series, but separated by different creative teams doing different story arcs. This is Legends of the Dark Knight #1. And what's really cool about this one is this is done by Derek Robertson, who was the artist on The Boys, the original run of The Boys. But he is going to be doing the writing and the art on this, and this first will be a 3-issue story arc about supervillain crime drama where there's a new player in town and they're bringing in a new kind of chemical and selling it off to all the different major villain players in Gotham. You see there Penguin, Mr. Freeze, and Joker. Right. And Batman's going to have to figure out how to stop them. So I think it sounds cool. There's a new supplier in Gotham. And I've seen some of the pages of this. It looks really good. Definitely, you can tell it's not like as mature as The Boys, but you see some of those faces, and it's very, you know what he's capable of. But this is cool too, because after this initial 3-issue story arc, there's going to be stories by Stephanie Phillips, Brandon Thomas, Becky Cloonan, Matt Rosenberg, a ton of creators. So this is kind of you're not super in continuity what's going on. These are more fun tales of Batman from all throughout his career.
Yeah, Derek Robinson, he's so good at making people look sinister. Like even his heroes look kind of sinister. So
of course it's going to be about the villains.
Yeah.
And then we have the one variant cover for this as well. It looks really cool.
All right, up next we have Fantastic Four Life Story. This is going to be a 6-part mini-series. And just like I know a lot of you read and really liked the Spider-Man Life Story stuff, it's kind of like that. So it's going to take place in real time. It's going to start in the 60s and in the backdrop of the Cold War, the space race, and we're going to see how they first got their powers, and then we're going to go up through the different decades. So let's see, if we start at the 60s and it's a 6-issue series, where does it end? Math. Do it for me.
But it's cool because they age too in real
Yes.
time.
So that's cool to see. I know the Spider-Man Life Stories was a big hit. It was
Mhm.
really cool. They did a lot of great stuff throughout the decades to, really make you feel like you were there. So that was awesome. So yeah, it's also the 60th anniversary of Fantastic Four.
Mhm.
So that is probably the reason why they chose to focus on them. So this is the A cover for that. And this is the Booth variant. Really nice. And there are some preview pages on Previews World that you can check out. And yes, Galactus is a big part of this first issue. And now we have the Martin variant. So pretty cool 60s aesthetic going on here. So reminding me of the Brady Bunch for some reason.
Okay, so the Shang-Chi trailer dropped, and Marvel, being as clever as they are,
Timely.
It's like they knew.
has released a new Shang-Chi ongoing series. So I don't know if you read the last Shang-Chi series. It was sort of a mini-series, really cool. Shang-Chi is now the head of the Five Weapons Society. One of the members was his sister. She was really neat. So he's now the head of Five Weapons Society, which is an evil organization. Like, they're villains, but they had to kind of bow down to him. So he's trying to use this evil organization to do good. That sounds really fun to me. But the other thing is, he heads back to the Marvel Universe with these people, and the heroes start thinking Shang-Chi is now a villain. So it causes some confusion. Apparently he's going to go up against Spider-Man, a few other people.
I mean, based on that cover, I mean, if he lays the beat down on all of them, I would also think he's a villain.
Well, so the first arc is called Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe.
Oh, cool.
So I think they've got a real fresh, real interesting hook on this one. The last series was actually really good. I really enjoyed reading it. It was way better than I expected. So I'm glad they're not just like throwing this property out there. They're really trying to build it up, get everyone ready for the movie. And here is the Cho variant.
Nice.
Really nice.
Yeah, I like a lot of his stuff. Some of it works better than others. This one's working.
Yeah, especially with that Spider-Man background.
Until he kicks Spider-Man in the face and leaves him bleeding. And then here is the YOON variant. There you see the Five Weapons Society. And lastly, this is my favorite coming up, the SUPERLOG variant.
It's crazy.
I mean, check that out.
It's glowing.
Yeah,
all those limbs.
That's really cool.
Alright, guys, so what we just showed you was some of our featured books this week. It's kind of a small week, and we try to stay super current. They actually just took Venom 200 off the FOC this week, so
they pushed it back 2 weeks.
We're moving along, so we're already on to some of the other cool covers and variants and stuff we don't want you to miss. So this is Batman Black and White number 6. Talk about a series I don't think anybody expected anything major to happen on, and yet, lo and behold, here we have really important first appearances and things like that happening here. So that's really neat to see. So this is number 6. This is the last issue in this mini-series, and we're going to see, as with the rest of them, different stories in each, some featuring Mad Hatter and Clayface and all that good stuff. This is also the Jason Fabok cover.
Yeah, it's a really good cover. And I'll also say, with Batman Black and White, there's been so many firsts in it that people are actually wondering how many of them matter.
Yeah.
Like, that's how many. But, you know, good stories nonetheless.
And then we have the YASMINE PUTRI variant.
That's crazy.
Yeah, with the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Next up we have Catwoman number 31. This is the FRISON variant, which I really like. And reading up on it, it sounds super interesting, where Catwoman has crashed a art opening, a gala opening, because she's going to try to steal their newest installation, which is a giant test tube with poison ivy in it. So what's Poison Ivy doing there? It says she's acting weird, and we've kind of haven't seen too much of Poison Ivy since she declared herself Queen Ivy, and she's kind of become more of a mysterious character since the Harley Quinn Poison Ivy story. So sounds really cool, and it's got this awesome FRISON cover.
All right, this is the Booth variant to Flash 770. So Wally West, he's been getting slung around through time, but not just slung through time. He is inhabiting the body of someone from that time. So it looks like in this one, he is Jay Garrick. He's in Jay Garrick's body. And this takes place back in World War II. He's dropped into the battlefields. Will Hitler make an appearance? My bet is yes. I mean, you're not going to put somebody back in World War II and not let them have a chance of punching. Maybe he'll punch him a bunch of times really fast.
I think it's interesting, too. I wonder when he goes back to the present time, he's like, do you remember that time I was in your body? And they're like, oh, yeah, I kind of blacked out for a few days. That's what it was.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Justice League number 61. This is the KAEL new variant. So in this series right now, we have the Justice League's powers gone haywire, and they have to fight their way out of a post-apocalyptic Thunderdome. That sounds freaking awesome. So once again, this is the KAEL new cover for Justice League 61.
Next up is Nightwing. This is number 80. And this is the variant for that. It is this is the Jamal Campbell variant, but also Nightwing has been kind of the biggest hit post Future State DC stuff. I think everyone was just ready to have classic Nightwing back. No more of Rick Grayson. He's back to being Dick Grayson. And yeah, so really excited for this. Every issue's been selling out. And this really nice variant cover. They had to look at for a little bit and be like, oh yeah, he's making his own logo with his legs.
Yeah.
So, really cool.
Yeah, and this has the first...
Oh yeah, and so the previous issue had the cameo of Heartless, the character who rips your heart out.
A new villain.
New villain, and then goes without saying that it's a villain. I can't imagine a hero being like, I'm a hero, but also give me your heart. This should be his first full appearance. He or she, we don't quite know yet.
Okay, this is Truth and Justice number 4. This issue is interesting. The art is being done and the cover by Rob Gilroy. In it, Jason Todd is after someone who has killed a friend of his from the past.
I wonder if he's going to eat anything weird in it. It's going to bring all his Chew storytelling out.
Yep, the Chew crossover with Truth and Justice.
All right, so next up is Immortal Hulk Time of Monsters. This is going to be a one-shot written by Al Ewing. It's going to have a couple stories in it. It's just a $5 one-shot, but it's mainly about the Green Door and the original Hulk, they say. So I didn't know too much about this, but apparently the Green Door is what connects the real world to the below place, which is below even hell, and it's where Gamma mutates. They can go there, but they can't cross back over until another door appears for them. So this is supposed to be like prehistoric Green Door stuff. So really, really interesting.
I just love hearing you describe this. No, because it is. I mean, even for everyone who's been reading Immortal Hulk, it is a trip with all the Green Door and the little skinny Hulks and all of that. So, and I think I'm guessing this will be the last kind of one of these one shots because Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk is over pretty soon. I think issue 50. So
I think they're kind of doing this as a wrap up situation. So just a one shot here, and there is another cover, but we don't have it here. So go check it out on Previews World.
Now this is cool. This is for Captain America number, I think it's what?
29.
29.
Yep.
And this is the Pacheco Heroes Reborn variant with the Skull of Venom. I don't know if that's going to be his name or that's just the fun subtitle they've given him, but I guess this will kind of be one of his first appearances, and it's just a super cool looking character.
Yeah, Venom mixed with Red Skull.
Yeah, but also this is this is the penultimate issue of Ta-Nehisi Coates' run on Captain America.
All right, here is the Peach Momoko variant cover for Mighty Valkyries number 2. This is as it says, the Heroes Reborn variant. So very Sort of definitely her style, but the subject matter of it's
Yeah.
very weird.
Oh, that's the Valkyrie one. The last one I think was for Heroes Reborn.
Yes. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So that was the Momoko for Heroes Reborn. Was this one? This is the Momoko for Mighty Valkyries #2. So that's more the Peach Momoko I'm used to.
Same Momoko, different cover.
Mm-hmm.
Next is Star Wars Bounty Hunters Prelude to War of the Bounty Hunters. But this is actually Bounty Hunters #12. So we're still not quite into the full Bounty Hunters, War of the Bounty Hunters event. But I mean, this just tells you how big the event's going to be, that there's all these preludes to it as well. And in this one, Valence, the classic Marvel bounty hunter, and Dengar race to intercept Boba Fett and Han and Carbonite, but also people are chasing them, some new mysterious characters. So I think everything leading up to or the bounty hunters and the series itself is going to have a bunch of first appearances or big surprises. Don't want to miss out on any of these parts.
Yeah, I've seen enough of these Marvel event books that have preludes to see that like people go back to get the preludes later. So don't miss out. Like ask your store to get them for you.
And then there is what they're doing with all of the War of the Bounty Hunters books. They're doing these crimson variants, which all just have that slight red tint.
Sepia.
Yeah, I'm wondering. So is that? I wonder if it's going to figure in as to why they're doing these.
It seems like
are they trying to make it where the variants are in Carbonite?
Yeah, it's going to be weird. I mean, it could be one of those things we get to the end of the series and go, oh, that's why they were doing it. You know, in Star Wars, there's the Crimson Dawn. There's red and crimson things that this could be a nod to that we'll find out later.
I see.
It seems a little too specific.
Yeah.
To just be a fluke.
Yeah.
And then we have the Empire Strikes Back variants, which, I mean, I'm still wondering how many more of these there's going to be, because we're getting right at the end of the movie.
Okay, so this is Way of X #2. This is the Ward variant. For those of you who were smart enough to pick up #1, I hope you enjoyed the read as much as I said you would. I really liked it a lot, so I think it's the #1 was really strong. This #2, so the #1, one of the big mysteries is who is the villain. The #2, they're claiming that the villain is going to be revealed. It sounds to me so far like it is not a new villain, because the solicitation says one of the most dangerous mutants is reborn. So there are approximately, I think, 14 Omega level mutants out there. Most of them, we know where they are. We've seen them in the story, in the X-Men titles lately. You know, heck, many of the members are on the team. But there are a few that are missing. So I've already started trying to think, who could it be? It could also be another form of Legion. I kind of suggested that before. Anyway, I could go on and on about this. Way of X #2, the Ward variant, available.
Okay, this is Geiger #1, the third printing. So this is neat. The #1 released with the glow-in-the-dark cover, and we had a customer actually send me a picture of what it looks like glowing in the dark, and it is one of the best glow-in-the-dark covers I've ever seen. It was so bright. And we already know the second print is that glowy image of that, as if it were glow in the dark, but it's not. This is the third print, and he's saying, stare at my nose for 30 seconds and stare at the ceiling. So they're trying to give you some visual effect with all these later printings. So
that's funny.
Kind of funny, but this is the third printing for Geiger #1.
I'm waiting for them, if this series gets hot enough, to release an actual radioactive cover.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
you have to pay $500. It comes in a lead box. Free little Geiger counter.
You get to run over it to confirm. Yep. Next up is a new series from Dark Horse. This is Rangers of the Divide, which it's hard to get a lot of story out of the solicitation for this. It says dragons and mythical beasts and sci-fi all come together. There's this elite commander and some new bright-eyed cadets that are on a journey into a unknown place to try and find the missing nation's peacekeepers. And this is by let's see.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. Megan Huang, who is the writer and the artist. The only thing I couldn't figure out is this like real world or is this like 100%, not Earth or anything? World. Yeah. But if you're jonesing for a new sci-fi fantasy, this one looks pretty cool.
It looks like some Western in there too, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've been missing Radiant Black, if your store has sold out, as many stores have, this is Radiant Black #1 third printing, or if you just want to get all the printings, so there's a new cover for that. Also, here is Radiant Black #2 third printing.
Yeah.
I think it's smart that they're doing this. In fact, let me show off the next one. Radiant Black #3 second printing. Often they'll have reprints of things just sort of scattershot.
Yeah.
With this, it's like, let's fill the shelves. People are interested. Let's let them read. And the same week all this comes out, Radiant Black #4 comes out.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah, so that's great. Good job, Image, on that.
You can catch up or just get started.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So this issue promises that Radiant Black is going to go up against Radiant Red. They're going to have a big fight that's going to go all across the city, and I think it's going to cause a lot of destruction, and I don't know if the city's going to be too happy with the battle.
I love that cover, too. It's so intense.
Okay, this is Stray Dogs #4. This is the B cover of the horror movie Homage. And we did not know what this was. We all did our guesses, could not figure it out, had to look it up.
This confounded us.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. Please write what you think it is in the comments, and later tonight or tomorrow, we'll tell you in the comments what it is. But it is
we figured it out. But...
Let me give you a hint. What's a good hint?
I thought you had one in mind.
How about you give me a hint?
I'm not sure if it's actually accurate. I'm going to say it's 70s. It's not a modern horror film.
It's a pretty deep cut.
Yes, a deep cut from not modern stuff. So there you go. Put it in the comments and we'll let you know later on.
Next up is one I'm really excited for. I buy everything Ryan Otley draws and works on, does a cover for, and this is Ultra Mega #3, the Otley variant. His style really works with that because he always has to be blowing somebody up.
And this is Godzilla. This #1 just released this week. Godzilla Monsters and Protectors. This is #2, the photo cover, and we have a really creepy, awesome Mothra on here.
He looks so huggable though.
He does,
it's just
but
the
then
sweetest face.
Also really freaks me out. So,
it's fuzzy. The wings look fuzzy.
Looks very fuzzy. But yeah, this is the variant cover for the new Godzilla series for issue 2.
All right, so this is the Infantani B cover for We Only Find Them When They're Dead, #6. This is the beginning of a new story arc that's taking place. It's been 50 years since Captain Malik and his ship went on that fateful journey. So Al Ewing's really moving things forward.
Yeah.
He's got a really big vision for this. So it almost has like a stained glass.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're all gods and everything, and it's like, oh, it's like their church stained glass.
Yep.
This is you.
Oh yeah.
I can do it.
So this is Batman. Batman Fortnite Flashpoint
Zero point. We'll get it.
#2, second printing. There's 1,000 words in this. And so this is, everyone was all hyped getting the #1. So they are doing, thankfully, more printings, and it does promise that it will have a code in there. Now, what we were talking about earlier, we're not sure if the code that's in it is like for issue 1, I don't know if you're exactly going to get the Harley Quinn skin that the #1 had. They haven't confirmed like it is a 1-for-1, you get the exact same thing. But it does say it does come with a code. So if you missed out, if your store didn't order enough, you can request these, and hopefully they do have some of the same stuff in them, but everyone will want to be getting all the printings of this.
And just to clarify, this is issue #2.
This is issue #2, right. Which probably, I'm guessing a lot of stores did not order enough of #2 because this was still before the hype for #1 came out.
Right.
So everyone had to put it in their orders, and they probably even decreased it from
Yep.
the number 1 because you always order more of the number 1. So number 2 may be the hardest first printing to find, just out in the
likely.
wild. So definitely don't sleep on this. Make sure, just put in a request to your store to get the number 2 second printing to make sure you actually get it.
And speaking of big second printings,
yes, Joker number 2 is getting a second printing. I'm pleasantly surprised by this because, you know, we ordered a good bit. It's one of those series, it's like, it's good. It's written by James Tynion, as you guys know, and you want people to get on this book. You want people to read it. So I'm really glad that we sold out here of issue number 2. We bet big on it. It's the first appearance of Vengeance, Bane's daughter. You get to see a little cameo of her. I don't know if they call it first full appearance or not, but she's definitely in there. So it's really cool. This is second printing. She's featured on the cover, so we're definitely going to be getting some of this.
Do you also see another face in there?
I do, yeah.
And now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, her fist makes teeth, and then there's 2 eyes.
I do see a bigger
so it's like another
face in
Bane
the
face or
background.
something.
So definitely get this. I mean, it's her first cover appearance, if anything.
interesting. Like she's busting through sort of her father's
Maybe.
image to be her own thing or something. Okay, yeah, I didn't. It took me a while to catch that.
Yeah.
Her eyes are so far apart.
Yeah.
All right, so the cover for this has not been released, but Demon Days X-Men is getting a 3rd printing with the Momoko cover. For all you Momoko heads, for all you Peach Pits,
There we go.
we just want you to know about this, because if you don't tell your store you want it, they're probably not going to order it since no cover is available yet.
Mm-hmm. Next up is Star Wars: The High Republic. This is the number 1. Which printing is this? This is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
5th printing. So we all made our guesses how many printings this was going to be. I guessed 7.
I can't remember what I guessed.
I don't remember. I think you
I
split the difference or something.
I think you said 6.
Okay.
I think you said 7. I think I said 8.
Okay, so we're getting close to yours,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I mean, it still seems like have a lot of steam in it.
Mhm.
So this is for the number 1. Then we have the number 2 4th printing. And then we have the number 3 3rd printing.
All right.
Okay, next is from Scout Comics. This is Black Friday. This is Scout, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So all these new S companies. So Scout is now with Lunar. So the same company that distributes DC Comics. So it's really interesting to see. I think they're definitely going to get more notoriety because they are at a distributor that only has one other publisher right now. So this is about Black Friday, you know, the crazy shopping holiday. And it is about the cleanup crew at a superstore after Black Friday occurs, and the negative energy that has been building up in the superstore is released. And so it's a really interesting premise, definitely
That's
a horror
great
book.
premise.
It's
And-
somebody who had to have worked in retail and it's like,
Yeah.
this is,
If
I can
that
confirm
were a
this.
movie and it released on Black Friday, I would be at that instantly.
So this is actually the second printing. I think I'm not 100% sure about this, but my bet is that they did the number 1 first printing through Diamond, and you know it get lost amongst all the other publishers there. So it's smart to put out a second printing, hopefully get more eyeballs on it. So this is number 1 second printing, and then number 2
Oh, you can see
already
the beast. Look at the tongue.
in the aisles as they're running away. So this is a 3-part series. So 1 and 2 already orderable. Definitely get both if you are not sure, because it's going to be a weird ordering for stores.
That is a very amusing cover. All right, so this series, this is By the Horns number 1, also a second printing from Scout. Now they're with Lunar. We're seeing their stuff more readily. So a lot of people miss this. They're doing the second print on this. I hadn't heard about this, or if I had, I'd forgotten. This book sounds really interesting to me, but not for kids. It's about a girl who hunts unicorns. And I don't mean hunts them because she needs them or she's hungry, or she hates them. She hates unicorns because they trampled her husband.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know, maybe unicorns are mean in this world, but anyway, unicorns trample her husband, so she hunts them. She travels the world just killing, murdering unicorns, and that's our protagonist.
I wonder how she feels about horses.
I don't
Once you
know.
slap a horn on there, it's done.
That's it. What a strange premise. I mean, I have to crack this open and read it when it arrives just to see, like, can you win me over to a character who just murders unicorns? Like, I understand they trampled your husband, but what was he doing?
Maybe they like laughed and smiled and looked at her while they
Yeah,
did it. And be like,
I don't
okay,
know.
they are jerks.
Anyhow, so it is my pleasure, I guess, to tell you guys about this comic. Interesting premise.
Next up is Stake #1, second print. So definitely Scout getting all their stuff back out there from the new distributor. This is about 3 years ago, vampires made themselves known. They came out with a bang and revealed themselves to the world. And in that moment, this girl named Angel's life changed. She lost her friends, some of her family. And so now she is a member of the Vampire Hunting Union. And she goes by the name Stake, which, I mean, I guess she was first to that when they're all fighting vampires. I'm sure there's another one called, like, Garlic or something.
Garlic.
The
stinky member.
But sounds really cool. I'm excited now that we're actually seeing these Scout books up front. So yeah, if you missed out on this one, because I don't remember this one initially coming out. When it was a diamond, it would be with kind of all the rest, with all the toys and everything else. It would fall in there. So now we can see it, and I'm really excited to try out a lot of these new books.
Okay, this is unfortunately no cover to it, but Berserker #2. How did this happen? #2 is not even released yet, and it's already back for a second printing. So I would just get this if you are interested in increasing your value on the comics, or if you just want a cool cover. I'm sure it'll be cool. So far, every printing that they've put out has been allocated, and even though they haven't announced that for this one yet, I'd say it's got a pretty high chance of it happening. So, Berserker #2, second printing.
Yeah, Dan Moore is a fantastic artist, so it's not like they have an artist on there you can't trust or don't know.
Yeah.
So even though they don't have the cover available, it's a great artist on there. So once again, if you don't tell your store you want this, they're probably not going to order very many. All right, so this is Future State Justice League trade paperback in hardcover. It's $29.99. Actually, I don't know if this is hardcover. That's not actually confirmed.
I think it's paperback.
Okay. I take back the hardcover part. This is Future State Justice League, the trade paperback. It's interesting they call it Justice League because it reprints Future State Justice League 1 and 2, but it also reprints Future State Flash 1 and 2, Aquaman 1 and 2, and Green Lantern 1 and 2. So all members of the Justice League, but it isn't just them all together. It's all those two-parters that they did during Future State. So that's 8 individual issues. You can catch up on some of the things that happened. As we've seen since Future State, it's not all been forgotten. They keep referencing back to it. This is a $20.99 book.
Next up is Green Lantern John Stewart, a celebration of 50 years. It's hard to believe John Stewart's been around for 50 years, when for a while he was the new Green Lantern.
Yeah.
When we get to Kyle Rayner's 50 years, I'll feel really old. But so this is going to be a hardcover. It's $39.99. It's 368 pages. It collects his first appearance, his kind of when he came onto the Justice League, got accepted as like an ongoing member of that. A lot of his really definitive story arcs throughout his 50 years. So these are really cool. They did them first for, of course, like Superman and Batman, all that. I think it's more interesting when they get to some of these characters that their stories haven't been reprinted as much over and over. And it has this really nice Jim Lee cover, too.
All right, so it's one of my favorite series. It is Jessica Jones Alias Omnibus. It's only $100. Yes, only, because it collects 1 through 28, the full Alias, and it also collects What If Jessica Jones Joined the Avengers. So, one of my personal favorite series by Brian Michael Bendis, one of the first adult books that I read. I think that series starts with the F-bomb. I think that's the first word.
Yeah, yeah.
So, really cool. Just $100 omnibus here, and it has an alternate cover as well. This is the Secret Origin cover. So, yeah, pick your favorite.
All right, and that is our show for this week.
Kind of a small
Yeah.
one this week, but it's got to happen. You can't buy fat stacks of comics every single week. I mean, you can.
You can.
We want you to. Occasionally, you need a break. So, anyway, still lots of good stuff this week. But yeah, definitely
a lot of good second and third prints.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sort of, hey, some books have gotten big. You might have missed them or missed certain ones. Now you can go back and get them. So, I think that was sort of the corner point of this week. So that and Wonder Girl.
And Wonder Girl, yeah, which will be the biggest one this week probably.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you need to order any of these books and you need a shop to get them from, you can hit us up. We're going to put some info on the screen about how you can email us, or you can reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll talk back to you there. And I guess we will see you next week. Bye.